Mendy Dubov, what is shaking? What is shaking, y'all? Golden Mike, episode 127. Mendy Dubov's my guest. You can read it down there. Mendy Dubov, do you know I've had 127 shows?
Because you're epic. You are an epic man.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Partially because I'm epic, but more important than being epic, no one can cancel me, sucker. I produce my own show, son. No one can cancel me, Mendy Dubov. 127 episodes. It took us to get to this point to have author of It's All Up in Your Head, Mendy Dubov, to have the founder of the Yellow Mentality, Mendy Dubov, Mendy Dubov speaker, Mendy Dubov, who's doing things with athletes who are about to get drafted in the NFL or preparing themselves for the draft and those transitions that go on. Yeah, I see those thumbs up, baby. Keep on coming, people. Jonathan Pack, I see you, brother. Rocky Top, I see you, brother. So
the Orange Blazer man.
Absolutely, man. Now, this is the big thing. We can use this state of flow not only for sports, and I think this is what we're going to talk about because you don't only work with athletes, not only for sports, but optimal performance in terms of the way that we live life. It sounds like there's a couple things when it comes to our own mentality, our own mindset, that's going to hold us back. And Mendy is here to talk about it today. Author of It's All Up in Your Head. And I'm not going to even wait till the very end. If y'all actually look, Mendy's giving his book away in the show notes right now. So, thank you for that. But Mendy, talk to me, bro. Is it all up in our head?
It is all in your head. And when you mentioned that I work with other types of people aside for athletes, this, and I was just on an interview, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and the host was like, okay, so tell me what's the relation between athletics and non-athletics, right? What's the difference between an athlete and a regular person? And I'm like, the beauty of what I do is that every single person has self-doubt. Every single person at times lacks confidence. Every single person at times is in their head, and that is what's holding them back from reaching that peak level of performance, that peak level of whatever it is you're trying to achieve, right? So athletics is a tool for life, right? And I always say this, that sports is a great metaphor for life, and it really is just a lot of things that apply in sports apply everywhere else in your life. So the things, and sometimes it's hard to be mindful of what's going on inside of your head that's avoiding reaching your peak, right? Yeah. So someone's like, oh, dude, I'm just trying to get to the gym and blah, blah, blah. Or we all come up with stupid excuses for why we haven't achieved what we want. And those excuses usually make us feel good, which is the biggest problem. So it's like, hey, I want to go to the gym, but, my mom's in the hospital. Oh, and everyone's like, oh, now we just justified the excuse. But if you want to look at it, if you want to be hard, let's be real here, is you're still not going to the gym. And you could have a great excuse that can be true and it can be justified, but that's not going to get you skinnier, right? Yeah. You're still fat. Yeah. So being able to I love you, man.
I love you too, brother. He's delivering lightning right off the bat. You're still fat.
Look, let's call a spade, right? Okay. Straight up. If you want to change your life, you have to do things that are going to get you to those developmental stages that's going to change your life. You have to do the things that are going to help you to change your life. I know we're getting off topic and we're winging this.
No, we're not, bro. Let's do it.
We're not. So I think I even had a question the other day. I'm an entrepreneur, right? I work for myself. I have my own company. And I genuinely asked this question to myself, and I in a serious, scary way. I'm like, what is work? I'm like, I don't really. I'm like, I don't know. I really
Did you do this during work?
Yeah, but that was the problem. I'm like, what is work? I'm like, I don't even know. I'm like, I don't have a set schedule where it's okay, I'm working 40-hour weeks. That doesn't exist for an entrepreneur. So it's just okay, we work until. And last night I sat up and I was working till 11 p.m. And then I'm like, you know what? I think I have the answer. I'm like, for an entrepreneur, some days you work 2 hours and some days you work 15. Yeah. And the way you gauge that and the way you decide how long you work is directly connected to how satisfied you feel or accomplished you feel or fulfilled you feel in those moments. So like you might do something and you're like, hey, you know, I just closed $1 million deal today. It's like, okay, that's pretty good. I can go and hang out at the beach for the rest of the day, you know? But some entrepreneurs like, no. And they have such a high level of performance expectation, or they have such a high level of need to be fulfilled or accomplished that they're like, no, I just made $1 million, but I only worked for an hour, so I have to go work for another 5 hours, and maybe I'll close another $5 million of worth of deals. So it depends on how you're feeling, and I love how this is going. This is like this,
dude. Don't worry.
So
127 of these, baby. I can pull it all together. Don't worry.
Coming back, yeah. So coming back to what I originally started with, which is, it's all in your head. It really is. And somebody that's successful and somebody that's not. How does anybody define that?
I love it. I mean, I think that sets us up perfectly in terms of what we want to talk about. By the way, Jorge from Puerto Rico, I see you. Big heart going out to you. It looks like you've already got Chris C activated. Or is it C? Let me know. She's like, right? What is work, baby? So, like, you've got everybody thinking about what the hell work is. Speaking of work, for those of you who haven't met me after 127 episodes, my name is Marc Cordon. I'm the founder of Make Money Coaching. I'm also the chief disruptive officer of the Joy Revolution. But more importantly, I love these ideas of things like flow as a positive psychology coach. And as a positive psychology coach, I get to ask myself, clients, and members of the Golden Mike community on a regular basis, 2 questions. And these 2 questions I'm going to ask you right now, Mendy Dubov. The first question is simple.
Oh, shit.
How happy are you today, right? The second question is, how much are you living in your meaning and purpose today? Mendy, how happy are you today, and how much are you living in your meaning and purpose today?
Okay, so we're gonna go deep. I mean, these are not yes and no answers. Okay, these are deep questions and really not serious, but they're intense. Okay, and let's talk about happiness for a second. Happiness is, first of all, yes. To answer the first question, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And the way I keep up that happiness is directly tied to, I want to say, looking at the world around me. And I've been so lucky to be able to travel to over 15 countries before the age of 25 years old, and look, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Vietnam, I've been to places where they don't have running water, and you come back home, you're like, dude, there's no Wi-Fi. Like, that's what you're bitching about. And I swear to God, it's crazy how it totally shifts perspective. And to me, that is happiness. To be able to see, and sometimes it might be a little sorrow, or it might be a little dark. To sometimes, like, you have to see what you don't have. You have to see what other people don't have to realize what you do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes you have to go to cities where people are walking around barefoot and they're planting their own rice, which is going to be their dinner in 3 months. And you're like, dude, like, I am the happiest, luckiest person on the face of the earth. And I swear, I come home and I'm like, I really, really believe that. I really believe that. And it's not something that I have to go boast around like, hey, I'm luckier than you, or I'm happier than you. No, it's something that I'm just content with inside of my heart. And it's something that I say, wow, I am really the luckiest person alive. And there is nothing that can take that away, because it's a mindset, because it's a perspective that I've understood and I've experienced in my life, that you can't take it away from me. You could take away my house, you could take away my car, you could take away my business, you could take away anything, but I'm like, I'm still here, dude. And if I've done it once, I could do it again. So there's nothing that can stop me in that way, but it makes you so humble and at the same time. Like, it's almost like you have both of those, that yin and yang, where you're like, dude, I'm the boss and I'm cooler than you, better than you, because I'm the luckiest person alive. But you can take away everything and I'm still cool, because and I understand that it's all perspective, and I understand that it's really, there's nothing that can make you happier than understanding what you have, who you are right now, and It's in here. It's all in your head.
I'm loving this, dude. You're a modern day Viktor fucking Frankl, dog. Like, you can take away everything, but I still am a cool dude. I'm pretty sure that's what Viktor Frankl said.
So me being Jewish and I haven't had relatives in the Holocaust, but I have friends that had family that either escaped the Holocaust or unfortunately passed away and died in the Holocaust. And it's like you think about, and sometimes you read Viktor Frankl's book, and you just think about, and it kind of gives you the same perspective. Like, you don't have to travel to Thailand to get that sense, where you read the book and you're like, dude, these people literally were stripped of everything. They had nothing left. And they were still strong in their beliefs. They were strong, and they believed so much that they would get out and survive. And that takes a huge amount of mental ability and as well as belief, and which is so admirable. And it's unfortunate that that's what had to happen for these people it had to come out. Like, they had to be crushed to the core in order to become together and work together and believe together. But it's just so true. And it's the same thing. It's like perspective. Like, we're bitching about stupid shit, like there's no hot water. And these people were having their lives on the line. Or people in Thailand don't have money to, live another day. And we're freaking out about something so stupid, like no Wi-Fi on the plane. Like, get a hold of yourself. And that's what keeps me happy. That's what keeps me happy. Like, when shit goes wrong, when something happens, I just right away I flip that switch, and I'm like, dude, what are you complaining about? You're so lucky for everything, even if things don't go your way. And to add on that, even when shit doesn't go your way, usually when you hit a bottom of something, whether it's something that happens one day that immediately makes you sad or mad or bad, whatever, usually it's that moment that creates something that's going to get you to that next level. It's going to get you. It's almost like you have to hit the bottom in order to bounce back up, like a bouncy ball, right? Bouncy ball can't go up if it doesn't hit the bottom. And that's so true when it comes to all of this, where sometimes the baddest, worst times is the inception of something great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it, dude. You're not a person who's short of words. This is going to be quite the interview today, brother. Azriela, I see you, sister. Azriela Yankovic, still the best name in the internet. Very much talking about what's all up in your head. You think good, and it will be good. And then she's got an emoticon with the eyeglasses on. I see you. A Rocky Top, I see you, brother. Happiness and joy is all about perspective. He too is talking about how it's all up in your head. I'm curious about this, brother. And by the way, he just completely hijacked my intro. So just everybody, let's go and shorten this intro. Show me some hearts, thumbs up, and wow faces all at the same time. I want you guys to hit the hearts, the wow faces, like the like buttons. Hit them all at the same time. We need to see that, but I want to get right into the conversation with Mendy right now. Thank you, guys. I see it. Yes, keep hitting it. Keep hitting that heart. I see it, people. I want to get at this, man. Like, you just talked about hitting rock bottom and to bounce back. What has been your rock bottom, brother?
Okay. I've been asked that question before, and I don't know if I could genuinely say that I have. And that's another thing that I'm very fortunate of. Like, I have an amazing family. I have both my parents. They're both still married. Like, there's so many things. And that's another thing. Like, I look at the world and I'm like, wow. Like, and I hear stories. I was just with a client the other day, and he's telling me how his parents were abusive, and I'm like, wow, like I'm, and what am I complaining about again? So again, I've been fortunate, and I'm so lucky. But like, if I would have to say something, I think when I was younger, I tore my ACL, and some people are gonna be like, dude, like, this is what you're complaining about, but I'm not complaining. But it's just something that really, like I mentioned before, sometimes you hit a bottom that really brings you back up. And this was one of those times where I tore my ACL. And for those that are not familiar, it's a ligament in your leg, in your knee, that helps you move laterally. So me as a basketball player, if I didn't have surgery and didn't fix that issue, I wouldn't be able to play again, and which wasn't an option for me at such a young age. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, this is something that we're going to have to deal with. So I tore my ACL playing basketball, and I went through the surgery. And I went through the rehab process, and a little light went on in my mind, and I'm like, okay, I've seen professional athletes tear their ACL before, and if, like, sometimes even more, like their meniscus, and they, shatter their whole knee, and they come back to basketball and they play. Some of them better than they were before, some of them the same, and some of them worse. And I wanted to know what that component was. What was it that allowed these people, or some of them, to come back better than they were before? And that led me into understanding and really studying the mental idea and concept of sports. And that led me into a career in peak performance coaching and allowing and helping other athletes to overcome those boundaries and overcome those limiting beliefs and overcome those limitations that we set upon ourselves that are in our head, and allow them to become the best they can possibly be. Whether that's building confidence, whether that's coming back from an injury, whether that's getting ready for a big game that they might be nervous about. All these different things that are all mental, it's things that I studied, and now I help athletes. So that's kind of something that it may have been like a raw and maybe like it wasn't a positive thing when it happened, but in retrospect, is one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, because that led me into the career I'm in now. So really thankful for that. And a lot of times that happens, by the way. Like sometimes the worst point in your life becomes the best because it leads to something great.
Well, absolutely. And Mendy, I'm not going to let you write off the idea of a torn ACL. Yes, first world problem, a torn ACL, right? But I've had 2 major injuries in my life. And one of them was a torn ACL. And I remember sort of going from a state where, again, first world problems, but like a state where I was very independent, doing things on my own, to a state where and it wasn't in the age of Uber, right? Like people had to drive me around because my it was a full-blown knee injury. Everything was blown out in it. Had to relearn how to walk, and you start feeling sorry for yourself at one point. You start thinking it's never going to be the same. I'm never, it's the end of this, it's the end of that. You start going into victim mode, and you're right. I remember my agency going down. I remember the second time, I was already a positive psychologist, busted my elbow, bro. Like the ones where the elbow is like hanging, right?
Flopping around like it's
yeah. And, like I remember going into the ER, people turning like pale when they saw it, right? And I still remember, even with all the positive psychology, the resilience work I had been teaching about, I still went into a slump.
So I want to cut you off, and I want to ask you a question for a second. I want to interview you.
You're taking over my show, son. Okay, let's do this.
I want to know, because I think a lot of people think that just because somebody's a psychologist, they have no issues. And just because they understand how to fix somebody else, they are never broken. So tell me from your perspective, as somebody that has experience and knowledge and education in positive psychology, what's it like to go through something that you usually help other people with? Now you have to be it in yourself.
Well, it's, I just came from a retreat with Luca Iorio and Bruce Schneider. You might know them, right? And I think this is it. When you're stuck in the mire and, like, you are the star of your own movie, right? It's everything is different because the perspective is shifting. When you feel pain, suddenly that's distracting versus seeing somebody in pain and helping them through it. I think the biggest thing that I need to do is make sure that I'm constantly surrounded by people with that mindset. People who will push me, people who, when I get into a funk, will call my shit out. Which is also why I do this show, is because I could stay here for 15, 16 hours in this place, coaching people and not thinking about what my own personal development is like. So I would say it's a blessing that you're asking me this right now, taking over my show, Mendy. But like you're asking me the fact that, like, yeah, I can know everything, and when it comes to positive psychology terms, Csikszentmihalyi and flow and all this other shit, right? But when I get myself into it myself and I'm in the mire, I need to surround myself with people who are both supportive and virtuous in terms of making sure that my best interest is at heart, Chris C., thank you. Marc Cordon, surrounding yourself with those people. Hope you're surrounding yourself. So I don't know if I answered your question, Mendy, on the Mendy Show, damn you. But, like, does that answer your question in terms of, like, I can know everything, but, like, I know nothing when those things happen, I still remember the day I broke my arm. Health boy, right? Here I am, health boy. I was so in shock, I walked into the gas station and I bought a pack of cigarettes. Like, it was that last day of my life, right? Like, I was in shock. And when your body is in shock and hormones and like all this stuff is going out just to protect you, you need people who've got your back. So that's what I've learned.
Yeah, good. Back to you now.
Can I have my show back?
It's your show. I mean, if you're satisfied with that answer, that's on you.
Can I have that? Can I hit that heart button, people? Let me know that Marc Cordon is a good interviewer and a good interviewee. Mendy, if you want to see Mendy have his own show on a daily basis, hit that heart button too. Oh, they're hitting the heart. They want to see the Mendy Dubov show, baby. No, it's cool, brother. We talked pre-show. Do whatever you want. This is your show. They're hitting the hearts. Man, they're slamming the hearts right now, bro. So let me ask you this, man. You know, at first I made a judgment about that the podcaster who went and said, "What's the difference between a sports mindset and a regular mindset?" But like now I realize that we go and separate the two, right? But like they really aren't to be separated. Now let's talk about this whole idea of things being all up in our head. The idea of peak performance, your sports injury. You got the ACL tear or blowout. Was it a blowout?
No, just a tear. ACL tear.
So you got the ACL tear. You're for anyone's ever had that surgery, you basically learn how to re-walk. Right? At some point, right? Because like you
lose all the muscle in your hamstring is gone. It's like the weirdest thing. I woke up, I'm like, holy shit, like where's my muscle? And they're like, yeah, you gotta rebuild that. I'm like, what the?
Well, number one, I saw you in short shorts back in the day. You never had muscle there, Dubov. Yeah, I'm kidding. But like,
we're gonna have a one-on-one.
Yeah,
no,
trash
talking now.
I can't wait.
Master of trash talking.
I can't wait, Dubov. But I think the thing is like, there's also this part in your mind where you're like iffy to put weight on it. Like you kind of like don't put the kind of weight that you want to put on it like you're used to, and the next thing you know you're overcompensating and the other leg is getting weak because of just the way that your mindset is. What are some of the things that when you got out of that big ACL tear that you learned that anybody can use to sort of get into this idea of being even better than what they were prior to their injury or their trauma?
Okay, so...
you're like, damn, Cordon asked the hard questions now.
Yeah, you're going deep. I can take this a couple different ways. Yeah. Okay, and I wish I knew your audience better and I would be able to answer it and address it in the best way. But I'll start with one and we'll see where that leads.
Yeah.
I think that when you get on the court, and you're familiar with this, there's something called a GALE, okay? And it's an acronym for four of the biggest mental blocks that anybody has at any moment. And it stands for gremlin, assumptions, interpretations, and limiting beliefs. These are the four universal mental blocks that stop anybody from reaching their next level of success or their next level of peak performance, okay? And I think for somebody that's coming back from an injury, it's going to always be one of these four things.
And by the way, these are taught at the IPEC Coaching Institute, you know, the idea of GALES. So
right. And I think for most athletes, it's usually an assumption that is holding them back from, like you said, taking that hard step. Or like when you come back from an injury, you're afraid to drive down the lane because you just, in your head, all you hear is pop, pop, pop.
Yep.
And you're like, I don't know if I should do that. And as time goes on, you start to change your game often in a bad way because you're trying to find a new way to play that's not natural for you. So as somebody that's making assumptions, you're saying, okay, I'm going to assume that if I take that hard two-step, whatever, hop step into the lane, I'm going to hear a pop-up and I'm not going to go there now. And so that requires a lot of coaching in being able to play with your mind in that way and be like, okay, where is this assumption coming from? And how do we prove that it's not true? And how do we prove that you can get over that? And then my other favorite of those four is going to be the gremlin, which is that little voice inside of your head that's telling you that you can't do it for whatever reason. Okay. And so it might be like, hey, you know, it's like a mix of the assumption and the gremlin, where that little gremlin's like, hey, if you take that little step again, you're gonna injure your knee again, and that's not fun. You're gonna be out for another 9 months, and nobody wants that. So I think for those two components, like hopping back and forth, those are going to be the two hardest things to get over as an athlete. And those are the two things that going to require the most coaching. And then for somebody that's listening right now that wants to be able to break through, I think the why is a big one. And I use this a lot. And that is, what is your motive in what you're trying to do? If it's just like, hey, I'm just trying to make another dollar so I can survive, like that's not enough. You have to really, it has to be deep. And this is one of the things that we've coached these NFL draftees on, and that is you can really reach peak performance and you can reach your best when you have a strong inner motive that will trump anything in your way and will totally demolish anything in your way. And the example I give is Michael Jordan when he won his 5th ring. It was on Father's Day, and it was right after his father got murdered. And if that doesn't scream motive, nothing does, right? It's like he was so strong and passionate about tributing this championship to his father that nothing was going to get in his way. And he was so strong on that. And you see, and there's a video of this, he's crying with the trophy crunched in his arms in the locker room, just completely full of emotion on how this is like, it wasn't so much about the championship as much as it was about tributing the game to his father. And like, it was just, he was so driven and he was so laser focused and he just had the why. So I think that's a huge thing. And it's true with business. It's true with entrepreneurism. It's true with athletics. It's true with you as a person and in personal development. If you want to achieve great things, you have to, and this is one of the, like, goes back to one of the questions you asked me, is what's that purpose? You have to have that strong purpose, and you have to have that strong motive that will help you fight through and make you work till 2-3 in the morning, that will allow you to work out more than you're used to be able to get back onto the court or get back into the office or get back into whatever it is you're trying to do.
I love it. I love that you're using sports both as a direct reference and metaphorical, because number one is you don't know my audience, but let me teach you about my audience. The smartest, best looking group of motherfuckers on the internet right now. So they're going to hit hearts and they're going to show you why they're so smart and good looking. But the fact of the matter is that my audience can actually take whatever it is that you're talking about and relate it to their own lives. So the idea of knowing your why, Azriela, Chris C., Walter, Rocky Top, I'm seeing you all right now. I'm seeing you all hit these hearts, baby. Like, everyone can take that and translate that into their why. I'm going to take a stab at it. And I want everybody.
I want to cut you off again. I'm so sorry.
Hold on. I'm gonna take a stab at it, and then I'm gonna. Don't you say that there's a group of smarter, better people on the internet, because they're not. They'll boo you. They will boo you. But like, let me throw this out there. In terms of my why, the reason I get out of bed, and do what I do and make money doing what I'm doing is because A, I want to empower as many people as I can, and B, I want to have as much fun as I can. Does that count as a why?
Of course.
Okay, for those of you watching, I want to hear what your whys are. Mendy has challenged us. I took him up on his challenge. I think I know my why. I also know my why might change at some point. So knowing your why, like from getting on in a championship game when your father has been murdered, to why does I do what I do in front of the Golden Mic and as a coach, right? Now call me out, bro. Call me out. Tell me what's going on. Bring it. Did you have something to say to me?
Yeah.
Come on,
let's your audience to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think no. So I want to just add one point on that is the way sports is interconnected with life. You can see that's why people that come from sports are so successful out of sports. For example, Kobe Bryant. He is so deeply rooted, and his mind was so good, and his mind was so mastered. Like, he just mastered the mental game. That's why he's making $200 million investing in Under Armour, in body armor. It's not because he's like, you just got an opportunity, like, hey, you want to invest in body armor? It's all patterns. It's all patterns. The people that are not, this is going to be blunt, but the people that suck for a reason, straight up. Like, and if you want to get better, it's a process, but then as you get better, it'll start to resonate in other areas of your life, and it'll come up. I don't want to talk too long. Let me hear some whys. Shoot them at me.
No. I think it's fantastic. You are not I'm actually looking at all the comments that are coming on.
Let's
Everybody that's watching on the live show right now, the live simulcast here, the watch party, come on over to either Mendy's page or my page so we can get your comments on the screen, because there's a bunch of people commenting in the live party right now too, buddy. No, I think that it's absolutely translatable, and what worked in one arena can translate in another. I've heard people say the way that you show up in one place is how you show up everywhere, right? So it makes sense that sports stars that have mastered the mental game would be able to translate that mental game. You checking your voicemail on me right now, bro? You bored already, son? We can cut this show off.
Just got a call from Albert Pujols. Kobe Bryant's on the other line.
Kobe's like, don't talk about I'm competitive, son. So I had no idea that you had Black Mamba on the speed dial there, brother. But let's talk about this. What are some of the things that prevent us from actually having that mindset of being able to get into the flow? Because now we're starting with the why. Now that you have, like, let's say that somebody has their why. I've seen a lot of people who know their whys make a lot of fucking excuses, man. Still, like, oh, I know my why, but if it wasn't for this, I would get out of bed. You know, like, what do you say to somebody who is, they found their why out, but it's still all up in their head?
That's a good question. Mm-hmm. I think, okay, so what I'm hearing you say is, how do you create motivation when there's no motivation?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about some of the people, when you're talking about going through a devastating injury, right? People lose motivation, man. They'll give up on a dream, right? Or I'm also thinking about, like, I remember the first time that I put out a group program and no one showed up. I didn't want to do it again. I was nervous to do it, right? That was in my head, bro, right? I knew I wanted to be a good, like, Joy Revolution coach or Make Money coaching coach, but, like, I just had gotten rejected in the first quarter. Hardcore. And the crowd booed me, and, like, yeah.
So here's what I got for you. It took me a couple minutes to gather my thoughts, but I got it.
Yeah, okay. I know you got
it. So for example, like this morning I saw a quote, and it said, when you're on an airplane, you trust that the captain is going to do his job. The pilot's going to do his job. When you're on a ship, you're not freaking out like, does the captain know what he's doing? Does he know where he's going? It's like, no, right? You just sit there and you chill out on the cruise while the captain does his job. So I think when somebody starts to doubt themselves, or they're lacking that motivation because they're afraid of, what can or won't happen or can't happen, I think there's too much belief in yourself. Your ego is too inflated. And I think when you believe too much in yourself, that's when you start running into issues, because you believe that you're the cause of everything. And that's where I think you have to believe in something greater than yourself. And you have to, whatever you want to call that, okay? Some people call it the universe. I call it God. Some people call it trust the process, okay? And that's so important, because you have to. Otherwise, if you believe in yourself, every single time you mess up, you're going to take the blame, and it's just going to fuck you up, right? And I think that's where you have to understand that there's something greater. And every single thing that happens for a reason. Every single thing that happens. And some people are like, no, not everything. No, everything. When you crash and something, it might be a devastating injury to you or the person, it happens for a reason. Not always do you know the reason. And that's fine. But you have to understand that everything happens for a reason. And where you are today is exactly where you're supposed to be. Period. That's it. Like, you're in the best place possible for your, like, think of your lifeline, like whatever that is, from 0 to, let's say, 85, 90. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Like, let's say, like when you run on those bicycles, they give you like a shadow guy, like where you're supposed to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And I think when you understand that and when you contemplate on it, it gives you a sense of contentment. And you're like, okay, like it's okay. It's okay. I think that addresses the person that's afraid to move farther or afraid to do something because of something that might happen. And then to address the person that's lacking motivation, I think like there's an exercise I use that it really blows minds, and this is it's inception, or it came from NLP, okay, neuro-linguistic programming, which is where you close your eyes and think about yourself accomplishing whatever it is you're trying to do. Oh, he's actually
hell yeah.
So take something that let's say take something you've been pushing off for a long time.
Okay.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay, now think about yourself actually doing that thing and accomplishing it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that like just logs onto this thing's gonna be like, what are they doing? Why is it so quiet? So now think of yourself accomplishing it, and think about how you feel. What are the emotions that are going through your body? What do you feel like? How does that make you feel now that you've accomplished it?
Joy, happiness, probably a lot of just looking at the grace and ease of it, like being able to do something that I'm good at and passionate about, and just being like, man, that was so simple. Yeah.
So I'm not done yet. Close your eyes again.
Shit, dog, this guy's taking over my show. Okay.
So close your eyes. Now think of that future self, your future self that just accomplished that thing. Think of it as something we call it a disassociated perception of yourself. Okay, so it's not like there's you right now where you are, like in your room on a call on a podcast interview with Mendy Dubov, and then there's your future self that just finished that thing and he's jumping up and down, all joyous, like, yo, dude, I just did it and I've been pushing this off for whatever, months, years, days, and I just finished it. Now collide those two images of yourself and bring that future image into you. Almost like it's coming into yourself and it's coming into your mind, and you're bringing that feeling of joy and happiness and fulfillment into yourself right now in your room on the interview.
Okay, I just creamed my pants.
I can't tell if you're lying or not, but
that's the scary part.
It's all about emotions. And it's all about how you view yourself. This is NLP uses a lot of associated and disassociated. Associated is you seeing yourself where you are right now, and disassociated is seeing yourself out of your own body, like from a bird's eye view, let's say, right? And then you can collide these two. Once you have the feeling of emotion, you can destroy trauma this way. You can destroy phobias this way. You can become motivated this way. There's so many different tools and ways you can use this. And this is what I do with my clients. But it's all about capturing that emotion and then bring it into yourself right now so that you feel like, dude, let's do it right now. Like I'm pumped right now. I just want to go out and do that thing.
I actually really love that. I appreciate you creating space for me to have that moment, dude. There's only been one other time in my life that someone has done that with me, right? And it was a mindset coach when I was coming back from my elbow injury. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to go back. I was a roller derby skater at the time. And not only did I move to become Rookie of the Year after she did that with me, like from the injury, I wouldn't put skates on, and then I became Rookie of the Year. But I was asked to skate for my country, for Team Philippines in the World Roller Derby. And like, one of the things that I forgot about is this idea of the future self can try and time travel now to help you out. Yeah. I hate to admit it, but Rocky Top's right. Mendy is bringing it today. Mendy's totally bringing it today. I don't like being wrong, but I really love what's going on right now. Courtney Harper is saying confident, empowered, solid. Love that exercise. Awesome. Walter Aguilar, coach from IPEC, works with NHL stars, in fact.
Yeah. What's up, Walter?
The act of remembering the future is what he's calling it, through your feelings.
I love how he just phrased that, remembering the future. It's almost like you've already accomplished it, and you just have to remember what that's like to accomplish it, right?
Yeah. And Chris sees it like, yo, Chris, I don't know if you did that. Did anyone do this exercise with me? And just put your head down and just think about what it is that you wanted to accomplish, we just traveled in time, right? Emotionally, we captured how we want to feel.
You just found the black hole.
Gave ourselves permission to feel it now, which means I feel it's going to be even easier to accomplish what it was that I wanted to accomplish. Everyone is lit up. Everyone is lit up. Chrissy loves that exercise. We see you. Courtney Harper agreed. It's being brought in. Yup. Cordon is getting slam dunked on today is basically what everyone's saying. But everyone, hit that heart button if you know that you're the sexiest, smartest crowd out there on the internet. Hit that heart button. I want us to reach 100 today. We're going to break an all-time high if we reach 100 hearts.
Yo, we got to get this.
I want Mendy to break this one. I want you to be the one who breaks the record. And everyone watching in the live show, the watch party, come over so that you can interact with us, please. Azriela, I don't know what you just did, but I think this helped Azriela finish her book. So in terms of like whatever mental barrier you had, and Azriela, like, let me know what was it that you were going through, and what was it that just happened for you to be able to finish your book? Unless you just like took a picture of Mendy and I and are just like, that's my final chapter, baby. Is this the picture of these two beautiful Florida men? Azriela, congratulations. Mendy, you are right. What I love about the time travel...
I know.
You son of a bitch. I love to hate you and I hate to love you already. What I love about what you were getting at is not only was it the future self that was showing up, but there was an unconscious self that was showing up. And so many times it's hard for us to realize that unconscious self, because we can go and say, I want to strive for that goal of $1 million or $2 million. But it's really something that the unconscious wants. That if it's never fed, you can reach that goal of $2 million or whatever that number was in my head. You can reach that goal, but if the unconscious isn't satiated, you'll still be left wanting and unfulfilled. So the fact that you brought the future unconscious self to me helped me realize, yeah, it is all up in my head. Just like Azriel was talking about right now. Azriela, sorry. It's all up in my head, yo. So that's what I love about it. This is also what I love about talking about the flow. You and I have been on for 48 fucking minutes, dog. Can you believe that, dude? So, like, I do, before I kick you off my show and defriend you forever for, like, slam dunking on me today, like, I want to ask you about a couple things. When it comes to performance, because there's something else in that exercise that came up in my mind, and it's this idea of success. And I was like, oh, that goal was something that I thought was success. But really, true success is the emotional feeling. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
What is your take on the truth about success?
So I think I touched upon it in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think that is that success, just like the way you decide as an entrepreneur how long to work is the same thing with success. Success can't be defined universally. I think success is first of all, a lot of success is society brainwashed, right? Like we believe, or people believe, that a blue check on Instagram is success, and which is totally warped and distorted, and it's messed up.
What is a blue check? That means you're a celebrity or something?
It means you're verified. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It means and in the world, it means you made it.
Well, I've got two blue checks on my baby.
2 blue checks. You're too good, man. So but then dealing with success, I think it can't be everyone has their own version of success. And I think that also grows, right? Like when you achieve something, we've all achieved something, we're like, okay, that's it. Like now what? Right? Like even for me, I had this weird emotional catastrophe when I started working with NFL draftees, and I'm like, okay, it's not good enough. Like I need to be working with an NFL team now, and I need to be like on the stage at the NFL. And because once you get there, it starts to become, it's like the law of familiarity, where you're like, okay, I get it. Like, okay, I'm here, I get it. By the way, this is true in marriage. which is why a lot of marriages fall apart. It's true in business. It's true in entrepreneurism. It's true with everything. It's when we reach that level or that goal that we thought we really, really wanted, and we're like, that's it? Like, now what? Right? And that's where we constantly have to grow, and we constantly have to be stretching ourselves. Matthew McConaughey, I love how he said it. He once got an Oscar, and he gets up, and he's like, someone once asked me who my role model is. And I said, it's me in 10 years. So 10 years later, that same guy comes over to him, and he says, so have you fit your definition of role model? He's like, no. Now it's me in 35 years. So it's constantly, you have to grow, and you constantly have to push your limits. But at the same time, when you reach those goals, you have to celebrate. Otherwise, you'll constantly be reaching that sense and that feeling of depression, because you'll be like, that's it. But really, you're accomplishing to somebody else. You're like, dude, you made it. But inside you feel unfulfilled, which is what happened with oh my God, his name just slipped my mind.
Is he burning out after 50 minutes on me? Are you losing it on the last lap, son?
Oh my God, what's his name? The guy from Good Will Hunting.
We're not gonna get 100 hearts. I want everyone to stop hitting the hearts. We're at 98. What's his name, son? For the 100 hearts, what's this guy's name?
Yeah,
Are you gonna crash and burn?
I just royally messed up. That's like that's the ultimate choke right there.
Are you talking about Them Apples guy? The Them Apples guy? Are you talking about the two young guys? Or are you talking about the guy who said it's not your fault?
Yeah, what's his name?
Oh, I'm assing out right now too. Robin Williams.
Thank you.
God.
It's a sad story. But that's exactly what happened to Robin Williams. He set goals for himself really, really high. He hit every single one of those goals, and then he committed suicide because he never was able to celebrate his successes, and he was never able to become fulfilled and satisfied with what it is that he achieved. He constantly kept on pushing himself to the limit. Constantly, I want to make a TV show. I want to be in a series. I want to win an Oscar. I want to have my own company. All these things. And he achieved every single one of them, and then he hanged himself because he never had that sense of fulfillment, and there was never that celebration like, yeah, I did it. Like, feel good about something you did. You set a goal, you hit it, be happy. Like, understand that you made it, and then go ahead and hit the next one. So it's almost like that, again, that yin and yang, where that you have to have the high and the low at the same time, and constantly push yourself, but also compliment yourself for who you are and how far you've come.
I absolutely love it. Like in psych, it's called the hedonic treadmill, right? Because you're constantly on a treadmill of wanting to acquire something else. So you get that first championship, and you're like, you know what? I want the second one. And you haven't even savored the first one because you're so used to being a workhorse, right? Yeah. And so what I hear you saying is not only focus on what's next, but savor what you have right now. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Azraelia has to say this. Matt Damon. Robin Williams, she guessed it. We can go over 100 hearts because Azraela pulled your ass through it, Dubov. So you can thank Azraela for helping you get to the 100 hearts. Let's talk about this before I kick you off my show permanently and never say hi to you again.
I'll see you next week for lunch, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're on next week, brother. Walter Aguilar says this: success is thriving in the moment by living in our highest and best version of ourselves in the process. This allows us to experience joy, peace, and contentment that comes from knowing that it's not truly an outcome, but rather who we emerge, or who emerges because of our quest towards that goal. So I think in many ways it's like that journeyman and acquisition that you were talking about. When I first heard this word yellow mentality, I thought you were the most racist motherfucker in the world.
Probably someone else has told me that also.
Who did?
What are you talking about?
Who did? Also at the same time, there's got to be something there with the yellow mentality. And how does it all come together now? We talked about a couple things about the power of perspective, truth and the truth about success, some of the things about getting into your why. In the book that you can download now, yellowmentality.com, it's all up in your head. I'm sure you're going to have some hacks for us in terms of how we can hack ourselves towards peak performance. But what about this yellow mentality? What is up with that racist word?
So I think I'm going to change the name of the company.
No, don't, because I'll
I'm
take
kidding.
it. Because I'll change it. I'll change my company to the Brown Mentality, baby.
So before you do that, you would want to hear why it's called the yellow mentality,
Absolutely,
okay?
yeah.
So every color in psychology represents another emotion. You're probably familiar with this, right? Blue, for example, they say whenever you go to a job interview, wear something light blue because light blue has a sense of calmness.
Yep.
It has a sense of acceptance and a sense of being present. Okay, yellow, on the other hand, represents the color of joy, the joy, positivity, and being alert. Okay, so essentially focus. Okay, and so that's why a lot of times you'll see. First of all, for all those Disney fans out there, whenever you see a Disney character that's the positive one or the leader of the group because of their positivity and because of their personality and because of their leadership, usually they're yellow. Okay, it's interesting, but you'll find it. You look at Big Bird from Sesame Street. I don't know if that's Disney, but whatever. Joy from
That's who I'm thinking about.
Joy from Inside Out.
Yep.
Pikachu from Pokemon. These are not all Disney, but it's all the idea of energy, positivity, and being focused and being alert. And so that's the yellow part. Okay, so yellow in the sense of peak performance represents being present, being alert, being positive, and being energetic, right? And you know a lot about energy. Both of us know a lot about energy. And we know that that's how you become the best of yourself is when you're energetic, when you're moving, when you're constantly in a state of whatever you want to call it, the high, right? So for peak performance, the way you reach peak performance, the way you reach flow is using the mind and using that positivity, using that ability to stay focused and to stay yellow, if you will. And the mentality is your mindset, right? So taking that idea of the color and the mental mindset, your mental ability to stay or to be present, whatever it is in that moment, take that yellow and add it in there. That's your recipe for peak performance. That's your recipe for optimal performance and flow.
Mendy Dubov, you've said enough. You've said enough. You're cutting off the mic right now. No, I think you've been I mean, your coach told you I was gonna dick around, but hopefully you see the value of a show like this, and I see the value of a person like you to be able to rap with you for like a straight hour. Yes, we did break the bank. We have 112 hearts that came through today. It's a new record. If anyone wants to hit any more hearts, this is the reason the show's called The Golden Mic. I do want to have you back. I also want to break bread with you because you're my neighbor. So I'd love to do that, brother. I cannot wait for the shit talk to start because I have a feeling you and I have a lifetime of shit talk. The war on I-4, let it begin. The war on I-4 has begun. But this is why it's called The Golden Mic. Everybody, yellowmentality.com /book. That's how you can download the book, all up in your head. I have links to Mendy's site. Congratulations on everything that's happening. And, like, even more so, congratulations on the people that are being affected, whose lives are changing by the draft right now. But you're helping keeping them grounded and at best performance in the arena, on the field, and off the field as well, right? So thank you, Mendy. Here we go. That's why it's called The Golden Mic. So, Mendy, over there in Orlando, Florida, the freezing Orlando, Florida today, there's a golden mic that's coming from your ceiling, right? And it's resting in front of you. The golden mic has the potential. It doesn't have the potential. The golden mic broadcasts to every single person, translates to every single language, all across the world. So, Mendy, when I hit the golden mic, the world is listening to the message you have to drop. Mendy Dubov, your golden mic is live now.
Hey everybody, what up, what up? My name is Mendy Dubov, and my one message for you is be kind to one another, share positivity, because you never know who can benefit from your interaction with them can change their life forever. You find someone on the street that might be going through something really tough. Your one smile, your one little piece of positivity can change their life and the world forever. And that's really what the world is all about. Make the world a better place by changing the world one attitude at a time.
Mendy Dubov, you're a good man. You're a good man, Mendy Dubov. I want you to hold that mic in your hand. I want you to feel that power for one last second. And for all of you viewers, remember, you're going to pick up the mic next and run with it. This is your joy revolution. But for now, Mendy Dubov, I want you to take that mic, hold it in front of you. I want you to smash that mic like it's hot! Mendy Dubov! Smash that mic!
Like it,
smash it! Smash it, I said! Smash that mic! Smash that mic!
I need an explanation.
I'm resetting that! I'm resetting all the hearts! If you don't smash that mic... Oh, yes! I talked him into smashing that mic, people!
Mic drop, baby.
Now, just for the shits and giggles of it, break the heart record even more, everybody. Share this thing out. Share Mendy's message out and hit the heart one final time. Let him see some love because this guy's spreading a lot of love. It's been episode 127, Golden Mike. Never cease to amaze with the guests that come on, including you, Mendy. Here's the deal. It's Wednesday. But the thing is if I keep doing these golden mics, I'm not going to be able to interact with the real people around me. Mendy and I are turning off the golden mics, getting off social media for a second so that we can spend it with people we give a shit about. All right? We recommend that you do that as well. Social media for social good, but then it's also time for us to spend time with real people. So go ahead and do that. We're shutting off the Golden Mic Live. I'll see you again next week. And this is the question that Mendy and I have for you. First of all, if you're feeling happy, and you're living life to your greatest purpose, what is your responsibility to changing history for the better? Marc Cordon, Mendy Dubov, Golden Mike 127. Mendy, I'll see you soon, brother.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Oh!